this change, which is why we need to have a principles-based approach to disclosure.
Thank you. I yield back.
Thank you. The gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Scott, is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair Lady. Chairman Clayton, let me ask you this. I want to talk to you about the LIBOR transition. Very critical for our financial system. As you know, the banks who are submitting the reporting information used to determine the LIBOR rate will no longer be compelled to use that in 2021. This is very critical. It is the benchmark that's underlying $400 trillion in contracts globally and $200 trillion in contracts right here in the United States. What is the impact this will be on our financial system?
Look, it's good that you raised this. This is an issue that requires attention. Shifting from LIBOR to an alternative rate, and one of the rates that has been proposed is SOFR. There's going to be some friction because one is sort of a bank rate and the other one is a secure funding rate. Or we need to reduce those frictions as much as possible. There are a number of ways to do it, but the numbers you cite are exactly right. If we're talking about $200 trillion outstanding now or $40 trillion that's going to survive the date that LIBOR is scheduled to go away, even small frictions create big numbers.
Yeah. Now, you raise an interesting point because one of the very critical issues we're faced with now is the need for financial education. It is very critical. We have 58, 60 million unbanked, underbanked folks. And here's my point. You know, I grew up in a little town in New York called Scarsdale, New York. And when I was in the 6th grade, our 6th grade project at Fox Meadow Elementary School was for us kids to go out, earn our own money, and do the research. And then as a class, we went down to the New York Stock Exchange and bought stock. That was so profound in my life. It was pivotal. And it led me on to being able to buy stock every year. I used that to start my own business, made it up to the Wharton School of Finance. They put me on the executive board of directors. And you know what? With John Scully, who was chairman of Apple, and he was chairman of our committee. And we would go across this country into African-American communities, building wealth. And the number one tool we used was investing in the stock market. Now, do you know that there are less than 17 state school boards association who require teaching of financial education? That is so critical. So I want to ask you, you're right at the step. Nobody can come out and be as strong and be an advocate for financial education mandatory in our schools. It could start at junior high school before the kids get it. Many don't even know about a checking account. And who are they left with? The predators, the people out there. Tell me, are you all as serious about this issue as we are? We on this committee are making that a priority. Ms. Beatty, Ms. Maxine Waters, and all of us are dealing with this issue. Just passed the bill to mandate the the community's financial, the Consumer Financial Protection Agency, Consumer Affairs, to start moving in this. Can you help us? Can we start a national movement to mandate the teaching of financial education in our schools? I'd love for it to start at the 6th grade. Thank you. What are your thoughts on that?
So I try very carefully to stay in my lane, Department of Education, SEC. I could not agree with you more about the importance of financial literacy and financial education in our country. It's not just for investing, it's for opportunities. if you don't have the vocabulary and the tools to participate in our credit-based economy, your opportunities are limited. End of
Yeah.
story.
All right. Now, I wanted to ask you, Ms. Pearce, about financial fintech harmonization. Ms. Waters and I are working on a bill for that, and you gave a speech in Singapore on that. Could you tell us what is the state right now of regulatory affairs with fintechs? Could I ask for
Give the
this?
gentleman the courtesy of a short response.
Oh, you're so kind. Thank you.
I think we have to take into account that there's a lot of activity happening outside of the United States, and I'd like to try to bring more regulatory clarity in the U.S. so that fintech development and innovation can happen here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome. The gentleman from Colorado, Mr. Tipton.